Brought to you by Peguin.
Empire Without End by Imaobong Umoren. Read by Dami Olukoya. The past does not exist independently from the present. Michel Rolfe Trujillo. The English have become such a pitiful lot these days, with hardly any idea what to do with themselves now that they no longer have 1/4 of the Earth's human population bowing and scraping before them. They don't seem to know that this empire business was all wrong, and they should at least be wearing sackcloth and ashes in token penance of the wrongs committed. The irrevocableness of their bad deeds, for no natural disaster imaginable could equal the harm they did. Actual death might have been better. And so all this fuss over empire, what went wrong here, what went wrong there, always makes me quite crazy, for I can say to them what went wrong. They should never have left their home, their precious England, a place they loved so much, a place they had to leave but could never forget. Jamaica Kincaid. As such, in this post-colonial moment, the sensibilities of colonialism are still potent. We, all of us, are still its inheritors, still living in its terrifying aftermath. Stuart Hall. Introduction. In June 1730, 68-year-old Sally Bassett was burned alive. Her burning body hung in Hamilton, the capital of Bermuda. Bassett, an elderly enslaved woman whose father was a white European and mother a black African, was sentenced to death for her attempt to kill by poison Sarah and Thomas Foster, the white slave owners of her granddaughter Beck, and Nancy, an enslaved woman she considered more foe than friend. Although Bassett professed her innocence during her trial, the court concluded that she had been moved and seduced by the instigation of the devil. Bassett was found guilty by the all-white male jury. Bassett's attempt at murder was not the first time she had committed a crime. In 1712, she had been charged with trying to poison the cattle and damage the property of 2 white Bermudians. She is best remembered, however, for her gruesome death. Bassett's identity as a mixed-race enslaved woman was crucial to her life and death. The status of being enslaved passed down through women, meaning that the children of enslaved women were considered enslaved from birth. The society in which Bassett lived was built on distinctions between humans based on skin colour. White elite European men, already accustomed to placing humans in a hierarchy, created a structure that assigned those with more melanin as inferior to those with less. The latter group was fit for freedom, the former branded unfree. As a mixed-race enslaved woman, Bassett's gender shaped what types of labour she would perform, who could have unrestricted access to her body, and what forms of resistance she could enact. This society was maintained by extreme levels of racial and gender-based violence. That Bassett turned to violence herself, therefore, should come as little surprise. The specific form of violence, poison, considered a woman's crime in England and commonly used by enslaved women who drew on West African forms of knowledge, reveals that although Bassett may have never set foot in either Britain or on the African continent from which some of her ancestors came, its ideas ricocheted across the Atlantic Ocean. For Bassett and other enslaved women, poison became what social scientist James C. Scott called their weapons of the weak. A subtle, silent, yet deadly form of resistance that existed alongside louder revolts and uprisings. That Bassett died by burning, a harsh punishment for a severe crime, reflects white elite fraught fears of death by poison. Sally Bassett's life and crime became the centre of controversy once again 279 years after her death. In 2009, a bronze sculpture of Bassett was erected in Bermuda, Britain's oldest colony. Occupied by the English since 1609, the island, covering 54 square kilometres and located in the North Atlantic, still belongs to Britain. As a non-sovereign state, it is one of 6 territories located in and around the Caribbean that are no longer called colonies, but rather British overseas territories.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?